seeing as how things worked out so well for Jennifer Crumbley, James Crumbley is kind of like, oh, shit. In his bid for a fair trial, James Crumbley, he's the father of Ethan Crumbley, the Michigan school shooter who executed 4 of his classmates. And now Jennifer Crumbley has been found guilty of second-degree manslaughter as well. And now, she's going to be facing her sentencing very soon. And he's up next. They didn't get tried together, which I found kind of interesting. But he's up next. Amid a concern,
Do you know what that reminds me of? Is the Tracy Ferreter case, the kid in the cage?
Yeah.
Her court case is going to be coming up in a few months. The husband's already in jail now.
Yeah.
So, how do you live your life knowing what's coming down the pike? Granted, it's the husband in that case that kind of did a lot of the stuff, but she was an accessory to it.
Yeah.
So how do you get up in the morning and go, I'm going to have a great day. Oh, I've got this huge trial coming. I mean, why don't they try these two together? They were both part of what happened. Let's save the taxpayers some money. Let's do them together. What's the holdup?
On this case, I really don't know. I mean, because it seems like they kind of conspired in this together. They both fled together. They both, were talking about, they got they didn't technically buy the gun together, but they both were aware of it. They both used the gun together with him. When they went out shooting, father, son, mother, son, date days, like everyone does. I don't know. This is kind of a weird one, the way it was separated up, but maybe they thought they had a better chance of maybe one of them being free. I don't know. In the bid for the fair trial, James Crumbley, the father of the Michigan school shooter, is seeking jurors from a different county to decide his involuntary manslaughter case. Well, you better be actually looking for jurors from a different country, James.
I was going to say, that's not going to help him.
Yeah. Amid concerns of excessive publicity and the recent conviction of his wife, defense attorney Mariell Lehman argues that the Crumbleys have already been clearly convicted in the court of public opinion. Yeah, they have, because they bought their mentally ill son a high-powered weapon and were shocked when he used it on his classmates, despite begging for help and drawing pictures of shooting his classmates. Y'all were caught up in your DoorDash and cheating on each other, her cheating on him, and all the other shit and horses and everything else, but the mental welfare of your child. Yeah, I'm sorry. This shit comes back to bite you. And
what was the horses part of this? Refresh my memory.
It's nothing wrong with the mother having a hobby and going in and having horses and shit like that, but she was so much more concerned, it seems, about going out with the horses and that, and then sleeping with the other guy and ignoring these pleas of help from her child that were clearly there. They didn't have to read into his diary. I mean, his diary was pretty much here's what I'm going to do. But they literally got a math assignment back that showed him shooting up students and writing on there, I need help. And it's like, I think he's okay. The school says he's okay. I think he's okay. Maybe stop listening to other people and believing bullshit. If your kid's drawing pictures of shooting people and telling you that he might do that and writing about it and saying, I need mental health help, it might be a clue that you need to get your son mental health help. Just maybe. Might be a warning sign. It's called a red flag. But if you don't want to believe that or not, I know it's easier to think that he's just going to go back home and, watch Sesame Street at 15. It was a case of people not accepting reality on reality's terms. James Crumbley, who's 47, stands accused of charges related to making a gun accessible to his son, Ethan Crumbley, and failing to secure mental health care for him. The tragic events unfolded when the 15-year-old Ethan carried out that mass shooting at Oxford High School in 2021, resulting in the deaths of 4 students and injuries to other. The upcoming trial in Oakland County has raised significant challenges in securing an impartial jury due to the extensive media coverage and the recent conviction of James' wife, Jennifer. Despite these hurdles, jury selection is scheduled for March 5th, with the defense team advocating for jurors from a different county. This is not far away, is it? The unusual move to seek jurors from elsewhere in Michigan reflects concerns about the potential influence of preconceived notions and biases stemming from the intense scrutiny surrounding the case. Oakland County, with its population of 1.27 million people, poses a unique challenge in ensuring an unbiased jury selection. The issue of jury selection is expected to be addressed during an upcoming hearing before Judge Cheryl Matthews, whose defense objections to certain witnesses and evidence will also be considered. Prosecutors bound by a gag order have previously opposed efforts to relocate the trial or bring the jurors from outside the county. Legal proceedings follow Jennifer Crumbly's conviction for involuntary manslaughter on February 6th, with sentencing pending. Meanwhile, Ethan Crumbley, who's now 17, of course, pled guilty to murder and terrorism charges and has received a life prison sentence with no chance of parole. And he pleads the fifth. He's not saying anything about his parents. Despite the complexities of this case, both the defense and prosecution remain committed to trying to figure out what the hell's going on here. We'll see. I don't know. In this day and age, like I said, you're going to have to go out of the country if you want to not have jurors that are maybe having a bias on the idea that you bought a weapon for your child that was disturbed and then used it on his classmates. I don't think.
Well, and that's the thing. This was a landmark case. There isn't anywhere in the United States that these people could go where people hadn't heard of this case.
No.
People were talking about it. I had gotten my hair cut, and I heard two different stylists talking about this case.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just that profound and widespread, because this is the first trial like this for a school shooter's parents. So next county over, that ain't going to do shit for you.
Yeah, I mean, what do you really think is going to happen? I mean, we're not in a world where that really makes much of a difference at all.
Mm-mm.
So
no, and this was on every single news station, and I've got a little bit of insomnia. I was awake, I remember, like 2 a.m. when this verdict came down on the mom.
Mm-hmm.
Even the overnight shows, like up too late or up too early, or one of them on MSNBC, they were talking about it for the entire hour.
Oh, did it come down in the middle of the night?
Yeah. Well, no, but they were still talking about it.
Yeah.
That's how big of a deal it was. It never left the news cycle for like 24 hours. It was huge.
Yeah. So, James, I'm sorry, you can run, but you can't hide. This is what happened. This is what happens when you're an irresponsible parent, and you ignore warning signs. And I'm glad they're going after you. And I think you should be punished. And I think other parents should be punished who ignore warning signs. Parents who heed warning signs and this shit still happens, no, I don't think you need to go to jail. I think it's a horrible, unfortunate thing, and you're going to beat yourself up for the rest of your life because you tried to do everything you can. These two did not try to do everything they could. They went out of their way to enable a mentally ill person to have access to a firearm, a mentally ill child to have access to a firearm, and then completely ignored the warning signs that he was going to kill his classmates, which could not have literally been spelled out any clearer if they were drawn in picture form, which they were.
Want to listen ad-free? Want advanced access to all of our interviews before anyone else?
Become a True Crime Today Premium Plus subscriber on Apple Podcasts.
You get every episode commercial-free.
So you can binge on true crime
until you can binge no more.
Search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts now, or go to our podcast page and sign up now.
More of the Hidden Killers podcast next.